Welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to this week's episode of the weekly HOScale newsletter recaps for December 2nd, 2024. It was Thanksgiving last week in the US, so I hope everybody had a great time, got to relax a little bit, spend some time with friends and family, and eat some good food. Before we go ahead and get started today, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button if you are new or find yourself coming back anyways. Really appreciate it. Honestly, it just helps me to one day make a couple dollars off this channel, so thanks in advance. Also, drop me a like if you enjoy, and drop me a comment down below if there's anything here you find interesting as well. I figured it would be a good idea to start off today with some of the sales that will be ending tonight as of recording on this Monday. So starting here with the Trainsgiving from ScaleTrains, we did talk about this a little bit before. Little end scale sales here, same thing as before going on. I'll just mouse down and show you the HO scale sales as well. Some of those items are sold out and have become more limited, so definitely check those out if you are interested or were looking to pick one of those up. There's a list for you. Again, this sale ends on Monday the 2nd, today at midnight. Another sale that will be ending tonight as well is with Class 1 Model Works. This is one that I haven't shared yet, but just a heads up for you, the first run of their 86-foot boxcars is on sale for buy two, get two free here. So that's the first run. Again, they did just announce that second run that's coming as well. So don't worry too much unless you wanted those paint schemes in particular. Similar sale here with containers, buy two, get two free as well. I don't own any yet. They do look pretty neat. I'm not sure how they stand up with your standard Athearn or Walthers containers yet. Additionally, the loaded bundle is on sale for 30% off as well. And their final sale is if you buy 3 loads, you get the Conrail depressed flat car for free as well. So this also ends on December 2nd at midnight. And the final sale we'll take a look at is with Walthers for Cyber Monday. Just a deal here on their mainline auto racks in both the buy and try levels. So there's that code there, WCyber24, if you're interested in picking some of those up as well for a little bit of a discounted price. They do have some other sales, I believe, going on, about a 10% off on most of their store, but this is just something that they've highlighted here. That's all in terms of sales I'll cover here. I know Atlas was having a sale, but that appears to have ended already. I know also a lot of hobby shops will have their own sales. Definitely support them if you can as well. Let me know if you were able to pick up anything at a good discounted price over the weekend as well, either on Black Friday or through the weekend through Cyber Monday. Be interested to know. I myself didn't pick up anything. I'm sort of waiting for pre-orders to come in and have my eye on some other things that haven't arrived yet. So of course those weren't on sale yet. But yeah, let me know. I'd be interested to hear what you picked up. We will start today's official newsletter recap here with the Athearn newsletter. First up, talking about their SD60 locomotives. I have their announcement up here as well to take a quick look at. So again, some of the road names in this release, they are missing the Oakway leasing. We'll get down to the CN versions. They do say that those are all purchased from Oakway, but decent amount of paint schemes here. You got 6 offers. Union Pacific Conrail ones look pretty good as well. Of course, lots of variations here with this Canadian National. Take a look at some of these hatches above the radiator fans that are differing there. A little bit of differences up front here with terms of antenna placement. So it's really cool, and it's nice to see because it is a Genesis model, they're able to go ahead and do some of those extra details. Last road name here is the Norfolk Southern. Again, these will come with Tsunami Sound or DCC ready. Those order deadline is December 27th, so definitely get those in. I know they'll be pretty popular, so just start thinking about that. But back over here in the newsletter, they do have the Genesis release of the PC&F plug door box cards. Interesting to see because Rapido's also coming out with a new run of those as well. So not sure exactly how those will stack up as well. Down here in the standard Athearn release, I want to take a look at both of these locomotives real quick. First up, the SW1500 here. Just want to take a look at some of these paint schemes. Again, this will be an Econami or DCC ready release, but they've got some cool options of paint schemes. So there's Indiana Harbor Belt to start off and Illinois Terminal. And then my favorite here, this Great Northern. I love the big sky blue paint scheme, so I'm very tempted to just pick one up. Even though I don't have a total use for it, I do have the Empire Builder train, but it's of course in the Empire Builder scheme, so it's not exactly accurate. They do have an Elton and Southern, which I was surprised to see. Very little known railroads here as well. Again, since it's in their standard Athearn line, they're able to release more road names instead of caring about those prototypical details, really. But these are RTR models. They do look pretty nice. You got a legendary liveries of Pacific Electric that looks nice as well. These have the same order deadline of December 27th. You got the prices right there as well of just under 300 with sound. There's some other ones. This one appears, sorry, at the top here, this Visalia Electric. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's an ex-Southern Pacific unit that looks nice. Got the L and N. And then some of those features as well. Pretty standard Soundtracks Economy Sound locomotive release from Athearn here. The next release over here in the standard Athearn line again is another run of the EC4400 CWs. Right up here, the very first one they're featuring here is the special Norfolk Southern paint scheme, number 4822, the tribute to our railroaders. So that's really cool to see. I was wondering if ScaleTrains would announce this first, but Athearn beat them to the punch here. You've got your pretty standard CSX scheme as well. We've got a Heritage 4 BNSF railway scheme as well, and then a Ferromex. And these are some of my favorite paint schemes here, the Western New York and Pennsylvania and Central Maine and Quebec. I just think these look pretty sharp, pretty cool to see. I really want a WNYMP AC6000 because I just saw them. They're back with WabTech testing, and I think those would be really cool. And I really need an AC6000 at some point, and I hope that ScaleTrains will release one of those eventually. I know they've teased it a little bit in some of their YouTube comments, but we'll see if they do pull the trigger on that. I'd definitely buy at least two. You got your General Electric scheme here as well, and then Athearn is doing another one in their Athearn paint scheme. They've been releasing a few locomotives lately with the scheme, I guess to drive up your production numbers as well, try to make stuff a little bit cheaper. There's just a list of those paint schemes here. Pretty much all road names are going to have the same or very similar features here. Again, your standard ready to roll release. But back over here in the newsletter, little tangent there, sorry to get a little distracted, but other releases here in the standard Athearn line. We got a Pullman postal car that was announced at Trainfest as well. We've got a 48-foot wedge trailer and a 28-foot wedge trailer with a dolly, which is pretty cool to see. And then in their roundhouse line, they've got a 40-foot gondola. Pretty good pickup if you're looking to just fill out a train. Up next, let's go ahead and take a look at the Broadway Limited Flyer. All right, welcome on over here to the Broadway Flyer, their longer newsletter here for the month of November. So we'll start off talking briefly again about the Chicago Northwestern Yellow Jacket, the ES Pacific. Really cool paint scheme, really cool offering that hasn't been done before. Again, brass hybrid model that'll come with Paragon 4 or Stealth as well. Let you have a quick look at those features here. We have talked about it before. I don't want to spend too much time on it here. Another new product announcement, we got the Fox River and 2066, the Power Car, which is really cool to see. New releases in both of those, never been done before. For the Power Car, which is pretty neat, they're going to have sound and non-sound versions, which I didn't see in the first time, so I missed that. They do have two different versions of this besides the undecorated model. They've got two different antenna arrangements, so take a look here at the end of each car. You've got a different antenna arrangement that's on one of the cars and then no antennas on the other one. So this is really cool to see. It definitely sticks out because the roof is taller. I'm not sure if I'll pick up a sound version or not. Still on the fence on that, but I'm definitely going to be picking up one of them for sure. Here's a quick list of those features there as well. And then of course, next up, they did announce the Fox River in a Chicago Northwestern scheme and then two Union Pacific schemes here as well. So some early rendering here of those and those model features. We did have an additional render of these cars shown on Instagram here. So we got the Chicago Northwestern version in the front, and then you can see the more modern version in the UP scheme in back with the white roof and some different antenna arrangement on the top, and then the intermediate period between the Chicago Northwestern and modern with the full gray roof there as well. The deadline for both the Power Car and the Fox River is April 24th, 2025, so we do have some time to think about these, and within that time, we'll have the Kennefic business car arriving as well. Should be coming up within the next month or so, so we'll be able to see another addition in the Union Pacific Heritage Fleet as well. And very briefly, just wanted to touch on the price here of both these models. You get the Power Car with sound coming in at $150 and the non-sound version at $120. Of course, if you order through a dealer, you should get a little bit of a better price on those as well. And then the Fox River, a little bit more expensive. You got $130 across the board here as well. No undecorated version currently on their site like we had with the Power Car. Moving back over here to the main newsletter here. Had a product spotlight on YouTube here from the Steam channel about their GP30s. As well here talking about what's neat this week in model railroading. Similar show to what I'm doing here, so it's really cool to see. They've been doing it for much longer than myself. Order deadlines here coming up as well. A couple of HO scale items here, as well as the N scale releases as well. There's a little update here on the samples and just other general updates here as well. So the die-cast SD70 ACEs should be pretty much in stores in people's hands now. The only late model there is the 1943 that they should be correcting, should be coming up probably this week or so. The Q2s are in shipment, so that's really sweet. I know they've been really desired for quite a while. And then the first Conductors Club locomotive, if you are a member, will be arriving in January or so. N scale first, and the HL scale will show up probably the end of January as well. And looking here, the Kennefic business cars, end of January estimated delivery, so expect that around the beginning of February for people to get them in their hands. Very excited to see that one as well. And then a couple more renders here. Another detail shot of the Chicago Northwestern version of the Fox River. So much detail on these, and I assume the lighting will be touch controlled, similar to the Kennefic. I haven't seen anything that said otherwise. I think that's direction Broadway Limited is going into instead of using the wand. So that's pretty cool. I hope it works well. There's some of those shots. Again, they don't show the modern version there with the white roof, but similar detail here with the gray roof version. Some more here on the yellow jacket. And then a later release here with the Chicago Northwestern logo instead of it written out across the tender. Just some nice shots there as well. They don't have any more teases here in this newsletter that they say, but mentioning that next month we should see some in both HO and N scale. Exciting news. And just a little here on their delivery schedule. Currently working on that as well. Pretty similar to what we saw up above a little bit. Here's some Q&A here as well. Looking here about asking about swapping out the Paragon boards as well. They're not offering that just because of the differences in stealth to Paragon 4. And here's a little information on adding a Keep Alive to Paragon 2 or Paragon 3. I'll just scroll through here a little bit. Looking here about turning track power off on a club layout, you should be good to just go ahead and put it on the track, let it idle for 15 to 30 seconds, let the go packs, their capacitors to charge up. You should have good smooth running after that. Just moving on through here as well. Now about some potential new releases here about new F units. Haven't organized that next run. And it'd be really cool to see the 614 modeled as well, the J3As for C&O. And unfortunately here, news here about the new lighting controls with that Kennefic car. The sensors in the older cars are all designed that way, and the new ones are designed with the new touch sensing, so there's not going to be any upgrades available. And they did announce the E5 for the Train of the Gods, Train of the Goddesses. It'd be really cool to see that whole train, like the IRM has the whole train. It'd be really sweet to see that whole thing one day. But that's all here for Broadway Limited for this month. Next up, we're going to take a quick look at the Walthers e-update for the past week as well, starting off with a mainline GP9 featured, some new paint schemes offered there as well, both ESU or standard DC as well. Got a proto release here about the Diffco dump car, pretty neat. I missed this release, so it's cool to see that featured there as well. And of course, talking about their Black Friday deals that we already covered, that 10% discount there and double points for yard members. And these are sweet as well, the Robotime 3D puzzles, so they've got some train options as well. Those look really sweet. And then Walthers generally features other manufacturers as well. Here's that Broadway Limited SD70 ACE, full die-cast body as well. Comes with Paragon 4 or DCC Ready in their Stealth series. Featuring here the 2024 Passenger Train Annual Book. Pretty neat if you're into that as well, talking about the Bud RDC featured on the cover here. That's all I have in terms of new newsletters for this week. Bit of a lighter week because of Thanksgiving and most manufacturers closed for the weekend. Did want to take a quick look at a manufacturer I hadn't heard about that one of you guys had told me about, and that's Prairie Shadows. It's really sweet here. They've only got a couple of releases now, but their first locomotive, the GP20C Eco, was just announced at Trainfest. They've got some really nice looking tri-level auto racks here as well in HO scale and a couple N scale items as well. So I'm really excited to see what they're able to come out with, and we'll get them on the newsletter list as well to make sure that I get you all the information about them as well. Very similar to Aurora Miniatures in terms of the items they're sort of announcing here. A couple freight cars and now starting with a locomotive, kind of how Aurora burst into the scene with the fans on their SD60F. So it's really cool to see another manufacturer come out with really high quality items as well. And then one thing I wanted to bring up here, talking about Rapido for a second and their HO Greenbrier reefers. So they did announce that beyond these great features here that they have as well, you'll be able to order both six packs or either the random single car, which they had offered before, or a specific car as well. So I've currently got the non-sound Cryotrans Orange Ed version six pack on order because it was before they announced that. So I think I might pick up one or two of the yellow end and a couple of this lineage logistics scheme as well because they bought Cryotrans and had those cars keeping with the naming scheme as well. So I think that's really cool. I really want the Swiss Alps. I think that one's just pretty cool. So they have the name on the sliding door of the car, which is really cool. Pretty unique feature. I do think I will probably be sticking with the non-sound versions of the cars though, just from sort of a price standpoint, so that I can buy a couple more of them. And I don't think I really need the sound from rolling stock too much. Here's a look again at those other schemes as well. The Ontario Northland is the only one that'll come in a 3-pack or single car instead of a 6-pack. And then the unlettered versions are just single cars as well. So we took a look at these pretty in depth before. I'm very excited to see them. We'll be able to compare them to the ScaleTrains reefers as well, just in terms of quality. They are a different model, of course, but I think these will be really, really cool. And then a couple other Rapido releases that do have deadlines coming up. December 16th is the deadline for the Rio Grande Steel Caboose. Again, we did talk about this before. This is just some images here from the previous newsletter. But here's some of those schemes again, in case you're interested or you want a little refresher here. I do think the Action Road scheme there is probably my favorite, the second one from the bottom. I do wish that this version with the windows did still have the FRA lights here shown on the shunting platform because the windows are blanked out, but we'll see on release. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and pre-order this one, but you are welcome to go ahead and do so. I think these will be really sweet as well. And again, another update on the E-units. Their deadline is also December 16th here as well. Again, they did change the Rock Island numbers to be more accurate. So listed those features there as well. This is their second run of E-units, so these should be pretty good. But here's those paint schemes. So lots more offered in this run. Again, they do have an AB set for Santa Fe and E8M, which is neat. Little variation for you. But again, December 16th deadline for both of those models. And then one final update here on a model that I'm considering picking up, the ScaleTrains Rivet Counter GP40s, their first ever run of them. These paint schemes look pretty good. Saw some of them on videos from Trainfest. The production samples look really good as well. So I'm considering picking up a Milwaukee Road locomotive here. I think I've talked about this enough before. I did wish it had the billboard lettering along the side, the Milwaukee Road in big black text, but this era that they have chosen is before they went to that billboard lettering. It's still very nice to see as well. The other paint schemes look great. Lots of features on these locomotives. We'll see how they stack up against the future Rapido releases. Of course, different road names offered there, and against your Atlas Master or Athearn Genesis past releases of these locomotives as well. But that's all I have here for you today. If you did make it this far, thanks for watching all the way through, and consider subscribing. Again, completely free. You can always change your mind. Like the video if you enjoyed as well. Drop me a comment if there's anything here you wanted to talk a little bit more about, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.